I would say that if you're going to, run a successful mowing business, really, all you got to do is mow a lot of lawns. So you guys well and truly know your stuff. 6 months in, I couldn't keep up with the work. When you're starting out the business, the most important thing is to create demand.
What drew you into the gym's business?
Not the sharpest tool in the shed. I was expelled from my first high school.
Right.
A few too many punch-ons. I dropped out of my second high school,
Right.
and I wanted to run a business. I was at Macca's first,
Right.
Macca's for 7 or 8 years, and I wanted to run my own business. I felt like I had what it took to do well,
Right.
but I also wanted something very simple that I knew I would, succeed at, and the idea of mowing lawns registered pretty well with me because when you drive down the street, everyone has a lawn, everyone has a garden, everyone has, if it's not a nature strip or gutters to clean or whatever.
Yeah.
So that thought sort of went into my mind. I was like, well, this is an industry where you'll never run out of work. And it also seems simple enough because I would say that if you're going to, run a successful mowing business, really, all you got to do is mow a lot of lawns.
Right.
And so that was my idea. I went, right, if I mow a lot of lawns, I'm going to run this quite successfully.
Right.
And turns out I was right.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Well, you've obviously done very well for yourself to reach where you are.
Yeah,
Tell me about how you got from starting there to where you are now.
Well, I started going out and mowing lawns, and my big thing was I wanted to start at 7 a.m. and then finish as early as I could. So I'd make sure I got to, each job as quickly as possible and had them all close together. And I'd do the schedule on a map the night before and just like map out where I'd go to what job.
Yeah.
And then I'd finish my day's jobs at like 2 o'clock or whatever. And I'd call up my wife and I'd be like, right, we've done the jobs for today. Let's go do jobs from tomorrow. Nice. So my wife would get on the phone, start calling these customers, say, yep, Dan's going to be coming out today.
Right.
Are you all right with that? We knew they were all right with it because we'd done it so often.
Right.
And I would just continue to go out and just mow people's lawns until it would get dark and I could no longer see the lawns.
Right.
And I did that 7 days a week.
Right.
So I did it every day and it was my obsession at this point. And when I wanted more work, I'd just call the call centre.
Yep.
I'd bring in more work, or I'd do a bit of extra marketing. Me and my wife used to do that, just hand out leaflets in people's letterboxes and visit real estate agents and do a whole bunch of before and after photos. And we had a whole bunch of work coming in, and 6 months in, I couldn't keep up with the work.
Right.
There was too much coming in. So I hired my younger brother to come and work for me.
Yep.
I gave him what we call a mowing round, so he had 40 hours a week of regular lawn mowing customers that he would go do.
Right.
I didn't trust him with a ride-on mower, so he didn't get one. He just had a push mower set up
Right.
in the back of a ute, and he'd go out and he'd do those jobs. And then he'd make me about $3.5 grand a week from doing that,
Nice.
revenue.
Yep.
And I just kept that same business model. So I had 6 full-time employees in the space of 3 years.
Right.
And then sold that business off. That was making real good money, obviously. And then built up another one, had 3 in the next one, but I was also doing coaching at the same time for gyms while I was running that second business.
Okay, you've obviously put the hard yards in.
Mowed a lot of lawns.
Yeah, right.
Mowed a hell of a lot of lawns. And then I became what you call a franchisor, which is essentially someone that coaches new franchisees and existing franchisees on how to improve their business.
Right.
So you recruit new franchisees, you retain the existing franchisees, you increase the amount of work coming through for the franchisees, and you offer them support and guidance.
Yep.
I did that with Brisbane, Brisbane North, Ipswich and Toowoomba. That went really well. I did that as a 50-50 deal with Jim, which was the first time Jim had ever done it.
Right.
But he was impressed with how I run my franchise, which is why he decided to be business partners with me in that region.
Awesome.
And then me and him went off to purchase a whole bunch of different areas. So we ended up buying up most of Queensland, Northern Territory, like a third of New South Wales.
Right.
And then I eventually took over Tassie, Western Australia, and a few different areas in Victoria and Melbourne.
Right. Yeah. Well done.
So,
You've
yeah.
certainly been there and done it.
And then once that happened, Jim just spoke to me about looking at taking over the company.
Yep.
And I agreed to become the divisional franchisor.
Yep.
And here we are. So now I paid Jim a lot of money.
Right.
A lot of money, but it's worth it
Yep.
because I'm for Jim's mowing in that top seat.
Yep.
And I get mentored from Jim, which is great because he was the only other divisional franchisor apart from me.
Yep.
So I've taken it over from him, and I just speak to him like all the time, non-stop,
Right.
to try and get, because I have no idea. Jim's going to know better than anyone.
What a great mentor.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I speak to him all the time, and he's got a lot of knowledge. So
Awesome.
we're continuing to improve Jim's mowing every day.
Excellent. Thanks for coming through today. What did you think of after you've met the Bushranger family and seen who we are as a business?
It does seem that you guys very well and truly know your stuff, but I was very impressed with especially Ben. The fact that Ben just knew every single aspect of everyone's role.
Yeah.
Like we went into one area where they were packaging, and he turned on the packaging machine and started packaging, brush cutter heads.
Yeah.
Like the Tanaka heads, which I was just like, isn't that, he said he started there when he was 9 years old, started doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So he's obviously just knows it, like the back of his hand because he was born into the company. Like his dad's still here and his grandpa started it. I mean, I like that. But everyone seems very nice here. Seems like a really good connection where everyone just seems, it's a good culture.
Yeah.
So it seems to me like you guys put people before profits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my perception of this business.
Yeah, awesome. Have you had any experience with Bushranger before?
So I've used a few of. I think the main one would be the 110A that I've used.
Right. Yep.
So that's the 21-inch mower that you guys have. Not a bad mower.
Right.
Not a bad mower at all. I quite like the Lonsin engine.
Yep.
I think it's a great engine. You can't really beat it actually.
Yeah.
So no, like a lot of franchisees of mine will use Bushranger. I actually, when I'd sell new franchises to people that were inquiring, my first year I sold 53 in the Brisbane North area, Ipswich and Toowoomba, and every single one of them I recommended to get Bushranger.
Oh, awesome.
So they'd get
Thank you.
Bushranger mowers, blowers, brush cutters, hedges. Yep.
Excellent.
So it just seemed like an obvious choice at the time.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
What would you say is the percentage of battery product being used across gyms?
It's definitely getting better. There's more guys. I would probably say most new franchisees are still starting with petrol equipment, and then they'll have battery as they'll also buy battery. Maybe 10% of them will buy battery, and they'll have the petrol there as a backup, just in case anything goes wrong. But yeah, I would say about 10% of our market would be using battery at the moment. That would be like for pretty much all their products. But you'll have plenty of franchisees that will have mainly petrol, but they'll have like an extension hedge trimmer that's battery, just because it's a lot lighter weight. So there's a lot more of those sorts of guys. I would probably say for the ones that have some battery operated equipment, maybe half.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
And the hedges tend to have pretty good run times with battery as well, compared to say a trimmer or some of the other pieces of equipment. So
which is good, but really what it's helping us with is not completely destroying our shoulders when we're doing great big hedge trimming jobs.
Yeah, no.
So no, you're right. The battery equipment it definitely has its place, and it's showing quite useful to us.
Do you see a time when it will go 100% battery?
I think it sort of has to happen. I think it'll happen with everything. Like it'll happen with the car industry. It'll definitely happen with the mower industry. I have no issues with everything going battery as long as it doesn't go robot.
Yeah, right.
So keep away from robot. Keep away from artificial grass.
Yeah.
Battery, we're more than open for. That's great.
At least you need an operator for it.
Yeah. Well, the petrol prices at the moment with the everything that's going on. It's probably not a bad idea to go battery. I
was expecting battery sales to go through the roof this week.
Yeah. Well, jerry can sales have probably gone through the roof.
They have indeed. They have indeed. What's the latest must-have for an existing franchisee?
Must-have.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, and this is something that not enough Australian contractors have, a hedge trimmer catcher plate.
Okay.
So a hedge trimmer catcher plate, I think, is a must-have for every single contractor out there. Yeah. It just saves so much time instead of sitting there doing a hedge trimming job and then trying to pull all the trimmings off the top of the hedge after you've done it.
Right.
If you've got that catcher plate, you just trim. It falls into the catcher, all the the trimmings and the leaves and that, and then you just flick it off.
Okay.
So I think that every single contractor should have one of those, and no one knows about them.
Right.
So they're big in especially like Asian countries, but in Australia they just never really hit. So I think that everyone should have one of those.
Okay, I'll certainly be mentioning that to Luke for sure. What advice would you give to someone thinking about starting their own lawn care business today?
Well, when you're starting out the business, the most important thing is to create demand.
Right.
So create demand to customers. That's going to let you set your prices how you want. If you're in low demand, you don't have enough work coming through, you tend to set cheaper prices just to be able to win the jobs.
Right.
That way you can still pay your mortgage and keep food on the table and everything else.
Yep.
So if you can just focus on trying to create as much demand in that business as possible, that would probably be what I would get, franchisees to focus on. Independent contractors, doesn't matter.
Yep.
So, and how you get that work come in, you might become part of a franchise.
Yep.
You might go to a different lead generation company. You might go do a bunch of local area marketing. So yeah, I would say that demand is probably the most important thing when you're starting out, and also constantly wanting to improve. And I would say an easy way to do it is to give yourself the opportunity to do it. So start every day, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. starts.
Yep.
That way, when you get all your jobs done, you can then go, right, I'm done. Now I have the opportunity to go do more work and build my business and do extra marketing if I want to.
Yep.
Where if you start late, if you start at 9 o'clock, you're through the heat of the day, you got all this traffic, and then you're battling through to just try and get the jobs done. And then by the time you get home, you're stuffed because it's been hot, you're exhausted,
Yep.
and you're not going to do anything extra.
Right.
So 7 a.m. starts is something that I think should happen for every contractor as well.
Yep. Okay. No, I agree. What tools or equipment do you think every professional lawn contractor should have in their trailer?
The basics of the lawn mower, the brush cutter or line trimmer, the hedge trimmer, both the extension and the handheld, blower, obviously. You'll have a few that'll get chainsaws. Some people don't get chainsaws. Pole saw, obviously. So those are probably the basics of what you'd need.
Yep.
And then from there, once you've got that, you go, all right, now where can I, maybe I'll go and look at upgrading and getting a ride-on mower.
Yep.
Or, you look at upgrading and getting, the latest and greatest new tools.
Yep. Okay.
So, but yeah, they're probably the basics.
Okay. If you had to pick one piece of gear that you couldn't live without, what would that be?
It's a bit hard when you're talking about lawn mowing, because the brush cutter goes hand in hand with the lawn mower.
Yep.
And that goes hand in hand with the blower.
Yeah.
So I feel like you need all three of those.
Yeah.
You can't do, if you're going to just brush cut a whole lawn, it'll look terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't mow a lawn without a brush cutter. So I feel like you need to have those three pieces of equipment. I couldn't live without any of them.
Yep. No, fair answer. If someone listening today is thinking about joining gyms or starting their own lawn care business, what would you say to them?
I would say it's not a bad idea, because you know that the work's going to be coming through, and find out who your franchisor or who your coach is going to be if you are joining a franchise.
Yep.
And if you're not joining a franchise, find out what resources you can have so that you can learn how to run it. So you definitely need some sort of mentor or a coach or someone
Yep.
to give you the tips and tricks of how to run these businesses. Like, a lot of people don't realise that, let's say, for example, throughout the year, you should be mowing lawns from October through till May, twice a month.
Right.
Now, throughout those months, you don't really want to do extra add-on sales for your customers, because you want to try and leave them through to winter. Obviously, if they need it done, you get it done. But October through till May, you do lawn mowing twice a month.
Right.
And then from June through till September, you do lawn mowing once a month usually,
Yep.
but you'll still go out there a second time that month. It's just that you're doing an extra add-on service. So you might do pressure washing, gutter cleaning, mulch and garden beds, some form of gardening, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
But you should always be out there twice a month at every single customer's property. It's just that making sure that you schedule your jobs correctly so that you can continue to be out there twice a month throughout the winter months is very important. Contractors should actually be earning more during winter than what they are during spring and summer, because those extra add-on services are worth more than what a lawn mowing job is worth.
Yeah, you can charge more for it. Yep.
Yeah. So, I think it's a really important piece, is just make sure that you're learning from someone that's a mentor that can mentor you how to run these businesses, and obviously, create that demand.
Yeah, and you do some of the training yourself at gyms, right?
Certainly do. Yeah, been doing it for 5 years at Jim's national office. So
Right.
I've been teaching all the franchisees that come in. Plus I'm obviously running Jim's Mowing. I have over 2,000 franchisees
Yep.
that, call me for any advice that they need if their franchisor can't help them out with it.
Right.
I have franchisors asking me for advice to help them out. I quite like helping everyone out. Yeah, it's a passion of mine. Yeah.
Sounds like your time is very limited, so we do appreciate you coming along.
No worries.
I'm going to put you on the spot with some rapid fire questions. Sort of a this or that. Petrol or battery?
Personally, petrol.
Zero turn or walk behind?
Walk behind. Yep.
Catching clippings or mulching?
I'm always going to say mulching. It's just better bang for buck. You get a better price per minute.
20 small lawns or one big job?
I prefer 20 small.
Commercial jobs or residential?
I would say residential, just because they're generally smaller jobs.
Okay.
So,
Coffee or energy drink?
I don't really like either.
Right.
And the reason is if you have coffee, you need to go to the toilet a lot more often.
Right.
Energy drinks, it gives you a really big high and then a really low throughout the day. So I'm more of a water sort of guy.
Right.
And just, basic electrolytes and sodium.
Nice.
Yeah, I like to try and keep balance throughout the day.
Nice. Meat pie or sausage roll?
Sausage roll, it's just got better substance in it.
Yeah.
It keeps you fuller for longer. It's more meat
Nice.
instead of more gravy. So yeah,
And
sausage roll every time.
Nice. And ute or trailer setup?
Ute.
Ute?
Ute setup, yep. So with my employees that would go out, I would have them doing a basic push mowing round, not a ride-on mowing round, because if I trusted them with a trailer, a lot of them reversing that trailer don't know how to reverse a trailer, and then they jackknife it, they run into people's brick letterboxes,
Right.
whole bunch of problems happen. So ute setup, push mowing rounds.
Very nice. Thank you very much for coming along today.
No worries, mate.
Appreciate
Thanks for
your
having
time.
us.